By the way, I don't know what Ion Network was trying to do last night. The broadcaster said at least twice that the game was sold out. And that was not true. All right? That was not true. The game was roughly almost 800 tickets shy of being sold out for Paige Bueckers' debut at the College Park Center.
Dallas Wings have finally done the unthinkable. They've tried to convince us that Paige Bueckers is the next Caitlin Clark. And by convince, I mean they've desperately attempted to hype up a player who simply doesn't have the same draw. Let's be real. If Paige were any more overhyped, they'd probably have to start handing out please attend flyers at the local mall. So, what happened to all that Paige effect we kept hearing about? Stick around because we're diving into the insane reality check that just hit the Dallas Wings and NaLyssa Smith.
The biggest superstar the WNBA has ever seen in the last 8 months. Paige Bueckers arrives and gets 6,251 people in attendance. Oh my God, it was flooded. It was flooded. The College Park Center was flooded with people. Oh, maybe it wasn't flooded. Maybe it wasn't really flooded at all. We can't sell out Paige Bueckers' home debut, her season opener, and her home debut. We can't even sell that out. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Paige Bueckers is fitting in perfectly into the WNBA. Good job, Paige. Good. Nobody else can sell out their games in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark.
How the tables have turned. The Dallas Wings, that illustrious institution of basketball mediocrity, is finally waking up from its fantasy to acknowledge what the rest of us already knew. Paige Bueckers is no Caitlin Clark. The same Dallas organization that acted like landing page with the first overall pick was going to transform them into the hottest ticket in the WNBA. You know, the kind of ticket that breaks Ticketmaster, like a Caitlin Clark game does.
Oh, this is for her, Paige Bueckers' debut game. Now, should be noted, don't forget, when Caitlin Clark and the Fever come to town, they're moving the game to American Airlines Arena, where the Mavericks play. So Paige Bueckers' debut is still in their regular arena, College Park Arena. And you may be wondering, American Airlines Arena has a 20,000 seat capacity. This only has a 7,000 seat capacity. So it's going to be very interesting, and in case you're wondering, there are still a ton of tickets left for this thing. The only thing that's sold out, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, so you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sections that are sold out, and then there's a bunch of blue where there are tickets available. So
fast forward to Paige's debut, and now they're practically scrambling to explain the patches of empty seats. Oh, how quickly things change when reality crashes the hype party. But let's talk about what happened in May. Paige Bueckers was out there making her WNBA debut against her hometown Minnesota Lynx. Supposedly a dream matchup that should have been impossible to get tickets for. Yet, somehow there they were. Actual available seats. Visible gaps in the crowd. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been breaking attendance records like they're made out of tissue paper. But somehow the media decided that wasn't enough to acknowledge the obvious difference.
How did you feel about your performance in total?
Yeah, I should have made the first one. Room to grow. You got to have a starting point, so you got to have a foundation to build on. We don't want to overreact to the loss, but we also know there's a lot of things we have to clean up and get better at.
Why? Because I don't know. Maybe the basketball media just needs to pretend there's a rivalry here. Could have been the whole next big thing narrative they had going with Paige. Could have been the desperation to find anyone who could stand in the same frame as Caitlin Clark. Who knows? You know, it's cute when the WNBA just decides to hand out future face of the league titles to anyone who had a good college career. But let's not forget that Caitlin Clark is out there shattering attendance records like she's on some sort of mission to make the WNBA mainstream. The kind of attendance that made you wonder if she had a personal vendetta against empty seats. Yet somehow the Dallas Wings thought that bringing in Paige Bueckers would create the same electricity. If you are enjoying, please subscribe.
Unfortunately, lost to the Minnesota Lynx in her debut 99-84, but have no fear, the second coming of the Great White Hope is...
But then the plot thickens. NaLyssa Smith, who left Caitlin Clark behind when she got traded from the Indiana Fever to join the Dallas Wings. Well, color me shocked. I mean, she only spent the entire season watching as Clark turned the Fever into the hottest ticket in the WNBA. I guess she couldn't handle being on a team where she wasn't the center of attention. When she got the news of her trade, she updated her Instagram bio faster than you could say career mistake, practically skipping out of Indianapolis with a new beginning declaration. At least that's what you would think was the smart move, right? But no, NaLyssa Smith, in all her wisdom, traded the guaranteed sellout crowds with Indiana for the maybe we'll fill the lower bowl reality of Dallas. They acted like they just discovered gold in their backyard, claiming, "Oh, look, we got Paige Bueckers. We're going to be the next big thing." Well, no kidding, Dallas. The whole world knows there's only one Caitlin Clark. But hey, it's better late than never to learn that lesson, right?
NBA debut. No, she didn't. If you are going to coddle Paige Bueckers like this, then I'm sorry. You think, like, if this was shining, if 10 points and 30% shooting, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists to 2 turnovers, and more fouls than assists as a point guard, if that is shining, then just say you don't think Paige Bueckers is that good.
Now the Wings are like, "Oh, hey, remember that Paige Bueckers? She's amazing. She's a freaking superstar." Oh, really? It only took one regular season loss to Minnesota for you to realize maybe she's not quite the same draw as Clark. Thanks, Dallas, for finally recognizing what the rest of the world had figured out months ago. It's honestly like seeing your friend who bought a knockoff designer bag, and then one day they're suddenly complaining about the stitching coming undone, acting like they didn't know it wasn't authentic. Oh, I thought we were getting the same thing. Yeah, sure, buddy. Just don't act too surprised when everyone else is trying to remind you that there's only one original. Let's also talk about the media's comparison system, shall we? We all know that sports media loves to create rivalries. It's practically a sport within itself. You know what I mean? Just when you think they've finally accepted that someone is in a league of their own, they pull some next-level shenanigans that leave you wondering if they were watching the same sport everyone else was.
Right here, despite the loss, Paige Bueckers shined in her WNBA debut, okay? And they showed 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Cool, if you want to say that, that's cool, right? That's fine. Maybe you are a fan of her. Maybe you're a huge fan of Paige Bueckers. Fine, you want to decorate it, make it seem like she did her thing, that's fine. But let's go back to what happened right here, right? This was last year when you were talking about Caitlin Clark. Now look at what they said. An up and down WNBA debut for Caitlin Clark. What does up and down mean? And look at the stats. 20 points, 5 for 15. 10 turnovers.
Paige Bueckers, for instance, the one who helped UConn to a national title, was immediately thrust into comparisons with Caitlin Clark. Because why? Who knows? Maybe the media just can't stand the idea of acknowledging that one player is simply more transformative than the others. Maybe it's because they're so used to manufacturing rivalries instead of accepting the clear reality. It's honestly a mystery. So, here's the media pushing this Paige versus Caitlin narrative. Even though Clark already had the kind of season that packed arenas with fans willing to pay thousands of dollars for tickets, arenas that saw attendance increases of over 150% just because Caitlin Clark was in town. But let's not forget the irony now unfolding. After all the hype about the Paige effect supposedly rivaling the Clark effect, we're seeing the stark reality. One player consistently sells out arenas nationwide, while the other, well, let's just say the Dallas Wings probably aren't worried about their ticket office being overwhelmed.
All I'm going to say, like, we have not seen any, can't remember the last time we've seen anything like this. It's just mad. It's just mad to see the cues, just everything when it comes to Caitlin Clark and this Indiana Fever team. Like, they are playing in, I'm not joking, it's 4 hours till tip-off. It is 4 hours till tip-off, and I just saw this right here from Dave Portnoy. There's a line for Caitlin Clark merch around the corner at 9 a.m, an hour before the team stores opens and 6 hours before tip-off. Like, can we be honest? Like, this is not normal. That is not normal. Is it something that's happened before? Probably. Is it normal? Hell no.
It's almost as if
the Wings went from we got the next big thing to okay, why aren't tickets selling like they do for Fever games in a matter of days? I'm just waiting for the inevitable pivot where they start explicitly marketing games against the Fever as your chance to see Caitlin Clark. The highlight reels will probably feature more Clark than their own players, complete with some dramatic music in the background. We'll get the slow motion shots of packed Indiana arenas juxtaposed with the scattered crowds at Dallas games, and Wings management will be left wondering where their master plan went wrong. And yes, Paige Bueckers deserves respect as a talented player. She's a former national champion who's going to have a solid WNBA career. But let's not pretend she's creating the seismic shift that Caitlin Clark has brought to women's basketball. She's not making people question who needs the NBA when we have this. She's not breaking attendance records, making history, and generally taking the women's game to a level that has broadcast executives doing